I always love when I get to the end of the week, on the week that we're talking about ahimsa or nonviolence, because really I can't think of a more compassionate practice to do for yourself than a restore practice. So as we do this though, I know at least one of you has an injury, that it's that opportunity to tune into whatever we're doing and either modify for yourself if I don't give you modifications, or choose not to do something if it doesn't work in your body. That this is really, this time on the mat is that time to explore and recognize what's right for you. So as you move your sitting bones on whatever you're sitting on, take a moment to feel that connection that you have. You can even move a little bit with your hips. Hands start to gently press on your legs to give yourself a little bit more of that grounding action. And then as you lift up through your sides, shoulder blades are on your back. Start to move through your neck here, taking that ear to shoulder that we know and love. That little check-in time. Noticing what's showing up for you through the neck, shoulders, upper back. And then as you come to some stillness with your eyes closed, begin to tune into a full but soft breath. Inhaling and exhaling in and out of the nose. Recognizing for yourself anything that is showing up, whether it's tension or stiffness, or maybe it's thoughts in the mind. And begin to allow your exhales to grow a little longer. With each exhale, press out just a little bit more, maybe even engaging the low belly a little bit. Take a couple more breaths this way, allowing your exhales to have that extra emphasis. And then releasing this breath and just allowing natural breath to happen. Connecting palms together at heart center. Take another moment to lengthen with your breath and bow toward your heart. And as you softly open your eyes and release your hands down. Now again, lengthen up through the back of your neck, and we're going to find your tennis ball or whatever you happen to have. And again, you can use your fist here if you don't have a ball. Easiest if we're working on bare skin for this to be effective, but it does also create a little friction, especially if you're using a tennis ball. So we're going to take the ball to the back of our neck. So tuck your chin a little bit down and take the ball in whichever hand you want, because we'll do both sides, but same side of the neck as the hand you're using. You're going to start to go up and down your neck here into the upper traps, perhaps, with the ball twisting. And as you twist, you're just allowing a little push with that twist, and you can experience whatever it feels like right up against the spine, and then down a little bit on the neck, so you might turn your head a little bit or lean it a little bit to the side. But notice up to the occipital bone, or the base of your skull, and then all the way down into where your shoulder and your neck connect. And now find a tense spot and hold the ball there, and without moving the ball around on your skin, just move it a little bit in that spot, little circles. Take a big breath. And then move it to another spot, same thing, find another place of tension and push and do little circles in that area. Big deep breath. And now you're going to do the same side of your neck, but switch to hold on to it with the opposite hand. So you're going to reach across, turn your head in the opposite direction and reach across, and you're going to pull the ball across your skin like you're dragging the skin from your back to the front. You're going to do this all the way from the base of your skull, down your neck, into your trap, into your shoulder, and you can go all the way down to the end of your shoulder where your delts are. So a couple times down your neck, pulling the skin. This is called a snow plow, actually, if you've done any fascia release, rollout work. A couple more times, up and down. You can notice if you are using a tennis ball that you might have a little bit of redness happening. I would, because I have that, sensitive freckly skin. Okay, so now you can go ahead and release that and just take a moment here to move through your head and your neck. You can take ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. You can take some nods or shakes. Just check out how your neck is feeling and if there's any difference from one side to the other. And then other side, same hand as the side of your neck you're massaging. Tuck your chin a little bit down, and then you're going to do that push and twist. Push and twist. Up and down your neck. And there's always, for me, at least one or two spots that are tense. You can notice that for yourself as you go up and down a few times. Where are those spots? You can be right up close to the spine and then a little bit down the neck here. And now find a spot of tension and hold the ball there, pushing with just a little bit of movement. As you take a couple more deep breaths, just notice if that tension is able to release a little bit or if it stays. No right or wrong answer, just a chance to notice. And then move to another spot. Find that spot of tension, push, and then add a little bit of movement in that spot. Little bits of movement, there we go. And now you're going to switch hands, holding onto it with the opposite hand. Turn your head in the opposite direction, and then you're going to do that snow plow, pulling the skin forward with the ball. And as you do that, again, you can go all the way down to the tip of your shoulder into the delt. Really, both of these actions, that twisting and the snow plow, can be done in any part of your body. It's something that I like to do through my forearms as a climber, but really it can be done through the calves or the hamstrings or the quads, anywhere where you are feeling tense. It starts to break up some of the fascia, that spider webby stuff that has so many places in the body where it builds up. All right, one more time, up and down. And then you can go ahead and set the ball aside and switch the cross of your legs because we've been sitting in one position for a while. And then move your sitting bones And root your hands down into your legs to give a little bit more lift and length. And then as you turn your head over to the right side, tuck your chin down, take a hold of the back of your neck or back of your head with your right hand, and roll your left shoulder blade down your back a couple times. Just notice for yourself what's happening there for you. After a little bit of massage, inhale back to center, and exhale, turn your head over to the left side. Tuck your chin down, take a hold of the back of your head with your left hand, and again, a few rolls of your shoulder down your back on the right side. And then back into center, and now walk your fingertips forward as far as you need to go, and work your way into a forward fold here, starting to work a little deeper into the back body. And you might add a little bit of propping underneath your forearms here, find what feels the best in your body, and add a little movement through your hips, through your sides. Take some big breaths. And then rising back up, we'll take it the other way and walk your fingertips just behind you, press down and lift your ribs, open up through your heart space. Take your neck to a neutral place. Take a big, full, deep breath. Notice that expansion through the heart and the engagement of the shoulder blades. And then gently come all the way back up to a tall spine. And we'll shift forward onto hands and knees. From hands and knees, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then rotate elbow pits forward and push, expanding into the upper back. And reach back with your right leg, toes tucked under on the ground. And from this place, you're going to do a little bit of pulsing forward and back, starting to get a little bit more into the back of the leg, calves and hamstrings here, checking out anything through the heel and the ankle that you might be experiencing. And then release your knee back to the ground and stretch back with your left leg, toes tucked under, and start that pulsing. And again, just give yourself that chance to notice the tension, the sensations, whatever's there. And then back into center. Now reach your right fingertips forward, round upward through your spine like a cat pose, and shift your hips as far back as your body is ready for. Coming into a little bit more of a back stretch, maybe a little bit more of a lat stretch. Take a big deep breath. And then coming back up to center, stretch your left fingertips forward, rising up onto those spider fingers, and then round upward through your spine, hips back toward your heels. Full big deep breath. And now back into center, we're going to do this again, only this time we're going to cross our bodies. So right fingertips forward, but in front of your left hand. Round upward through your spine, and as you push your hips back, intentionally try to reach further back with your right hip. Then inhale back into center, and left fingertips cross over right in front of your right hand. Round upward, and then as you push your hips back, again, intentionally send your left hip further back. Then inhale back into center and reset yourself. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. This time, lift your right leg up, stretching back with your leg, turn open with your hip, bend your knee and press your heel toward the left side. So you have a little stretch through your thigh happening. Full big breath, tone your low belly. Then setting your right knee back down, inhale, stretch back with your left leg. Turn open with your hip, bend your knee and push your heel toward the right side. Long thigh stretch, tone your belly, big breath. And then set both knees down, big toes together, knees wide if that's comfortable, and settle hips back towards your heels. Settle into a child's pose. And from this place, add little bits of movement for yourself. Shifting with your hips, lengthening your arms. And then if you would like, you can take a letting go breath. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Three more deep breaths right here. Then inhaling, rise back up to your hands and your knees. Set yourself up. And now we're going to do some of those scapular push-ups that I know some of you know and love. I'll take my jacket off just in case you can see my shoulder blades from there. I don't know if you can. And as you rotate elbow pits forward, push, expanding into the upper back. And then inhale, draw shoulder blades together as you let your chest move toward the ground. Exhale, push and expand your shoulder blades. Inhale, shoulder blades toward each other. Exhale, push and expand your shoulder blades. So as you do this, your elbows don't bend, but instead the movement happens entirely from shoulder blades. As you take a couple more deep breaths here, just notice for yourself if there's tension, if it's difficult, or if it feels pretty easy. One more big breath. And now we're going to shift hips back toward our heels. Grab whatever prop you need for in front of you, and it can be one prop or two. We're going to wrap our fingers over the edge of it. So you can bring it out as far as you can to press your hands down and settle your shoulders down. Begin to settle your head down if that's comfortable. If it's not, then you can keep your head lifted. But from this place, think of drawing shoulder blades onto your back. And take a deep breath into that space in between your shoulder blades. We have 3 more big breaths right here. And now as you inhale and rise back to hands and knees, pause on your hands and knees for a moment. I'm going to put my jacket back on. And move through a couple rounds of cat and cow or side to side sway of hips and shoulders. You decide what feels the best in your body here. Take that time to just move in a way that helps you tune into what's happening. And now back into center, and you're stepping right foot forward in between your hands. Blocks for hands if you would like. Work your back knee back as far as you need, and just take a moment here with a little length through your back thigh, extending your heart forward. Full, big, deep breath. And now walk your hands to the inside and your heel toeing your front foot out to the right. So you have your knee and toes off at an angle. Extend your heart forward and then work down toward one elbow, maybe two. As you do this, just take a moment to notice what feels tight. What is it that is present in your body for sensation? And now we're going to do two different things here from this lunge. One of them is work through the front hip, and the other one has to do with the back hip. So rise up onto your hands here, and again, you can be up on blocks. Lift your front, the front of your right foot up so you're on your heel, and then open your leg up as much as your body is ready for it. You have that flex of foot, so you have a little stability for your ankle and knee. And from there, little pulses with your hips forward and back. Sometimes if you have sciatic nerve stuff going on, this can be a helpful reliever of such pain. And now you can set your foot back down, but keeping that angle because we're going to turn ourselves with our left hip onto the ground. So you can take away your blocks if you want, or you can be on them. But you're going to turn your left hip toward the ground. You might even set it all the way down. I'm going to set mine down, but you might stay up a little bit here. Your choice. Wherever that is, you have a little turn through your torso toward the right side and a push with your left hand so you're not sinking into your shoulder. That press onto the hip or just that reach of the hip toward the ground tends to give a little bit of feedback to some of the fascia, like through your TFL, like through your IT band. Take a big breath. And one thing that you can do here is sometimes if you take a rolled up blanket and put it underneath your hip, that will give you even more of a roll out fascia release. But we'll do that another day. Take one more big breath here. And now we're going to come back into center. So use your hands to support you to come back onto that knee, foot back into center, and then step back to hands and knees. And just pause for a moment on hands and knees. You can always take a child's pose here if you want to. But notice what's showing up for you. Move through a couple cat-cows. See what's happening in your body. And then step left foot forward. Blocks if you want for your hands. Work your back knee back as far as you need, getting that little extra stretch through your back thigh. Take a big deep breath right here, just being long through your spine. And then walk your hands to the inside, your heel toeing your left foot out to the left, knee and toes in the same direction. And for a moment, lower down onto your elbows, taking that lizard pose variation here. Deep breath. And now gently rise back up to your hands. And again, you can be on blocks or on the floor, either one. But lift up with the front part of your foot so you're on your heel. And start that opening and closing with your knee. Keep it open and start moving forward and back with your hips, just a little bit. And now you can set your foot down, but keep that angle of turning open. I find this helpful in taking this twist. Hands on blocks or on the ground, and now you're going to turn your hip toward the ground, and maybe it comes all the way down, maybe it doesn't. You can always shift. Notice my foot and my knee are not in the same position as they were, so you can always shift a little bit to make it happen. Take a big deep breath here with the outside edge of your leg, your hip against the ground. Just notice for yourself what the sensations are. What's the difference between this side and the other? And now we're coming back into center and stepping back onto hands and knees. And this time, take a moment to grab your bolster and set it in front of you. And you're either going to take a child's pose or a puppy pose, whichever feels the best in your body. So with child's pose, hips back towards your heels, knees open wide if you'd like to pull the bolster a little closer. For puppy pose, hips stay up a little bit. You can even walk them back so they're underneath your hips. So whichever variation you choose, you can have the bolster underneath your chest, underneath just your head, underneath your belly, wherever it needs to be in your most comfortable place right now. Turning your head to the side if that's comfortable, and if it's not, you can always be with your forehead on your bolster. And just remember that the intention here is to come to the most compassionate place for yourself. So if that means shifting to a different variation, please do. If you have your head turned to the side, go ahead and turn it the other way. And then gently inhale and push yourself all the way back upright. And we're going to come all the way down to our sitting bones and expand and open more through our chest. So if you want, you can use your bolster or you can use a rolled up blanket, whichever feels the best. So we're going to lay over it the length of our spine. Whichever one you choose. If it's a blanket, then you might choose to sit on the blanket. Otherwise, have your hips on the ground and lay over whichever prop, opening up through your heart, opening up through your chest. Maybe bring soles of feet together into a butterfly with blocks underneath them. That's always an option here. Take some big breaths in whatever variation you're choosing. And if you have any tension through the low back, that's your opportunity to make whatever shifts you need to make. Whether it is, again, sitting on the blanket or moving the bolster a little further away from your hips. And I don't know if you just noticed, but I shifted my legs so my knees are coming in together to touch. So lots of options. Compassionate action for yourself. Allow yourself to notice any places in your body where you're feeling tension or holding on tight. And make some gentle shifts to allow that tension to release. And if you find that it just won't release today, then that's just something to notice and try to work with. Nothing to judge, but just information to take in. We have about 3 more deep breaths right here. And now bending your knees and then rolling over to your side to gently push yourself back up to your seat. I always feel bad for doing that because once you're down, it's usually that you stay down, but we're gonna do a little foot love first. So you can bring a prop out in front of you to be able to put your foot on if you want, or if crossing your foot over your knee is enough of a support for you, find how you can lift up your right foot. We'll start with the right one, and make it accessible for you. So if you're wearing socks, you'll need to take them off. But then just take a hold of the front of your foot and move through the ankle joint. And if you have some ankle stuff going on right now, then that might be really gentle movement, or you might be saying, oh, that's like physical therapy. So move in one direction. And then move in the other direction. And now we're taking knuckles and going up and down our arch. And we technically have 3 arches in our foot. So going up the main arch, but you can think of going to the outside of the arch, or the inside of the arch rather, and then all the way to the outside of the foot, which is where another arch is. Couple times through the arch. And now we're going to go to the arch that goes over the front part of your foot, your transverse arch. Thumbs on the bottom side of your foot, fingers on the top. You're going to push your thumbs into the bottom of your foot and pull your fingers over the top. So you're sliding them out to the sides. And you can switch where your thumbs are so they can be closer to the big toe mound, in the middle, and toward the pinky toe mound a couple times. And now take your left hand over your toes and pull back, right hand, and massage the muscles that run in between all the toe knuckles over that arch. I know I always end up having some tension there myself. Okay, and now you're gonna weave your fingers into your toes. If you don't like touching your feet, I apologize, but this is a really good thing to do for yourself. So with your fingers in between your toes, first move your toes around with your fingers. Just kind of wave through your toes, move them up and down. And now move your fingers with your toes. You're going to try to wave through your toes. I swear I start to stick my tongue out to the side because I have to concentrate so hard. And then up and down, so you're flexing and pointing at the toes. Good. And then take maybe your two thumbs or your fingertips to the front part of your heel where you have two pressure points. It's where if you get orthotics made, then there are two bumps that push up into that, and that's arch support. So I like to just kind of push against them, move them around, make circles, and just really see if I can feel some tension there. And if there's no tension, then count yourself as lucky. In the next week or so, one of the restore practices, we'll take the tennis ball again and actually use it on our feet. Okay, second foot. Oh, words are funny. However you need to support it. And take your knuckles to the arch. And rub up and down the arch from the inside to the outside. And if really you do anything like standing on your feet for a while, or hiking, or running, or gardening, or I don't know, living a life, then you probably have some foot tension. So this is a really good thing to do for yourself. And now through the transverse arch, that front part of your foot, thumbs on the underside, fingers on the top. And as you push your thumbs in, slide your fingers over the top. And switch where your thumbs are, pushing into the big toe mound, in the middle, pinky toe mound. Everybody's going to need to wash their feet and wash their hands after this. Okay, and now over the top with your right foot, pulling your toes back. Right foot, right hand. Left hand, fingers run up and down the muscles that are kind of in between the knuckles. In between the bones. I forgot to make us do circles. We'll do that next. I was like, I'm doing so well remembering the order. Okay, so now let's go back to what we did with the other foot in the beginning and do some ankle circles. And switch directions. And now we'll weave our fingers on the right hand into our toes. And for a moment, move your toes with your fingers. Think waving up and down, switching between them, switching the direction of the wave, all those things. Lots of awesome mobility for the toes. And now you're going to use the muscles of your toes to move your fingers. So now try up and down. And a wave. The wave is always the hardest for me. Okay, and release your toes. And now we're going to come to those pressure points at the base or at the front of your heel. So again, little pushes with the thumbs, or you can use your fingertips. That's always okay too. I like using my thumbs myself, but it's personal preference. And you can do little pushes. You can do little circles. And see if you can find any tense spots. And if you can, take some breaths with that tension. And if you find that your arches feel awesome, then say, yay, hooray. Okay. And now you can let go of your feet. And your choice, you can have your two balls, if you have two of them, in a little sock or a bag, or you can have a rolled up blanket underneath your neck. But we're going to come to lay down. Make sure all your props are close by. And as you come to lay down, if you're using those two balls in a sock or a bag, set them underneath your occipital bones, or set your blanket roll underneath your neck. And sometimes with the balls, you have to actually reach back and hold them. But if you're using the blanket, then lucky you, you really don't have to hold on to it. But do little nods here. And then shake your head no. Nod your head to the right side. Nod your head to the left. And then come to just rest with a little press happening at your occipital bones. And again, you might have to hold on to the balls, or you can just let your head rest against the blanket. And from this place, walk your feet out wider than your mat and drop your knees side to side. Taking those windshield wipers and checking in with the quads, the glutes, the low back, that pocket muscle, the TFL, all the things. Then back into center with your legs and walk your feet back into hip distance and cross right ankle over your left knee and draw your legs in toward each other. And from here, if you want to, you can take the balls out or the blanket out, or you can keep it there. Take a big couple of breaths. With your feet flexed, maybe a little rock side to side with your hips to allow more length through the low back. But then really drawing legs in towards your body as close as is comfortable for you. Getting whatever stretch is right for you today. And now gently switch sides, crossing left ankle over your right knee and drawing legs in toward your body. Again, as close as you need. And again, a little movement side to side here with the hips to allow some length through the low back. And then draw your legs in as close to your body as is right for you today. And take some big breaths. And then set footprints on the ground. And you can set your balls aside or the blanket aside here. And as you reach your legs all the way straight ahead, reach your arms overhead and take a full body stretch, reaching through both heels, reaching through both arms. Take a big deep breath and notice the lift and length through your low back. And then walking your feet back in, take your hands to your upper thighs, right at your hip creases and give a push. And again, this will allow that lift through the low back and take some deep breaths into your low back muscles here. As you inhale, feel your low back expand toward the ground. And as you exhale, feel it release. And now begin to set yourself up in your favorite resting pose. Again, maybe finding that prop for underneath your neck again, or you can let your head be free and not have it on anything. Maybe set your bolster underneath your legs or your blanket over your hips. Start to find your way to a really comfortable Shavasana. Letting this Shavasana be a really wonderful, compassionate action for you. Begin to take a deeper breath. Add some gentle movement into your fingers and toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to your side. And gently push yourself back up to your seat. With hands coming together at heart center, take a moment with your eyes closed to tune into whatever has shown up in your practice, whatever is there for sensation. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.